basically are making up these.
Hello, everybody. This is Ryan Lanier, Organizing for Good. I am so happy to come to you, as always, on Thursdays with the nonprofit shout out interview. I hope it will be an interview. My interviewee, I think, has been delayed, but I can absolutely go ahead and start without her. The nonprofit shout out interview is a bit of a passion project of mine that I enjoy doing because I know that there are so many amazing nonprofits out there doing amazing work, and people just don't really know exactly what they're doing. And I started this during when COVID first hit. It occurred to me that nonprofits are going to get hit really hard with still trying to do their amazing work while the world was in the crazy status it was. And I have been doing lots of interviews and enjoying hearing how they have pivoted, how they have risen to the challenge, how there have been things that were more challenging, but there have been a lot of things that honestly COVID became a bit of a benefit for. I know that's crazy to say. And I would say that in your life, you could probably think of some things that you've changed since COVID began and you probably won't go back to. So as we say, it's not all bad. Anyway, so I started interviewing nonprofits and asking them all about who they are, what they do and who they work with, how they're serving, what the challenges that COVID has brought to them, and how can people support. I think that's really the biggest part, because I know that everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to help. They all have different ways of doing so. Some people are able to get out with their actual self and go and give time from their day and their schedule. Some people can't do that. Some people can donate money. They can donate items. They can support the events that the nonprofits are holding. So, and the easiest way and cheapest is go like and follow the nonprofit's social media and share about what they're doing. And you just never know who is going to hear the message and say, that is what I've been waiting for my whole life to start supporting. You just never know. I'm just always amazed with everything that is going on out there to fill in the gaps that life seems to have left a lot of entities behind. And social services and education system has already stretched so thin. So it's beautiful work. So okay, I think what I'm going to do is just go ahead and share about Lighter Loads ATX. Let me just make sure I'm all good on Facebook. Make sure everybody can see me. Okay, great. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to share. Okay, so Laura and, oh goodness, why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden? Laura Ritchie and her wonderful husband, Richie, I've forgotten his name right now. They came to Austin from North Carolina, my stomping grounds. And they came to North Carolina. They came from North Carolina to Austin, and they did what I find many nonprofits, how they are born. They're born out of people's hearts. They see a need and they cannot walk away from that. They say, I just can't go on about my life without trying to do something about this. And you don't always have to start a nonprofit. Like that's pretty huge. You can do lots of smaller things, have diaper drives and things that are smaller than that. But sometimes people are just called. So, oh goodness, hold on. Okay, she's coming. I just don't have she needed the link. Okay, hold your water, people. She thought it was at 2:00. It's okay. Oh no, I did not mean to do that. It's okay. Hold on. Thank you for your pay. Okay. Can I just hold on 1 second? Thank you. Oh, I can actually invite her from right here. Here we go. This is how I can do it. Excuse me. Real time, people. Real time. Real time. This is all good. This is all good. No problem. Anyway, okay, just hold on. We're good. We're fine. Oh my gosh, never a dull moment in this world, right? And honestly, I'm going to take a moment to talk about the call method because so many things. I did this to her on Tuesday. We spoke before this interview about what we were going to talk about. And I thought it was at 2 and it was really at 1. And I did not confirm with her in the morning. The call method is all about confirming, setting alarms, laying out your launch pad so you can mobilize into motion with your head still attached to your body and all the things that you need with you. So a quick confirmation is like changes everyone's comfort. Like you just know that you have confirmed your things for the day. So if I had texted her on Tuesday morning and said, I'm looking forward to talking to you at 2, she would have said, I have it as 1. And I would have looked at my calendar, which I do know how to read, but my eyes saw something different. Even though it said 1, she would have said, I have it at 1. And I would have said, my goodness, you're right. I will speak to you at 1. So I should have texted her this morning and said, see you at 10:20. And she would have said, oops, I thought it was at 2. And we would have figured it out. So, the call method can bring so much peace if you are a person who is always late and just if you run late, if you find yourself lots of distractions, like taking your attention when you're trying to get out the door and not having the things that you need. So learning to prepare, this is a great way to handle things. Here comes Laura. Hello, Miss Laura.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
Do not worry about it at all.
How are you? You look fantastic. How are things going?
Things are going great. Things
Wonderful.
are going great. I mean, I just went ahead and got started without you. And I've been just talking about, we're already live. And I've just been talking about what the nonprofit shout out is in general. And I was just starting to say, let's talk about lighter loads, but you are here. So wonderful.
So sorry.
Awesome. No, please, no worries at all. No, absolutely. I could have texted you this morning and confirmed. So I was actually telling everybody that we did this on Tuesday. I thought I was supposed to call you at 2, and
Yes.
you were expecting me at 1, it's called life and
Right.
we just roll with it. So I'm so glad you weren't in a spin class or something like that. You're ready to roll. You look beautiful
Oh, thank you.
and I'm ready to start asking you questions if you are ready to receive my
Ask
questions.
away. Ask
Awesome.
away.
Great. So please introduce yourself. Tell us about Lighter Loads, a little bit about how it started and, how you are serving the homeless with this ministry.
So it started by just driving to church one day and thinking how crazy it was that we had just passed a bunch of homeless people under the Wells Branch Bridge. And I think immediately I was just kind of struck with, you know what? This isn't making sense. We need to do something and really be more active in our faith, if nothing else. Like we just need to do something, right? And so after church that day, we just felt like what we really want to do is do what everybody thinks. Let's just bring them food because it just seems like the logical thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we brought biscuits the next week, and I kind of thought we were just going to hand the biscuits. And my husband, James, he's like, no, we're going to get out and talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we did, and we started getting to learn their names and their stories. And we started making hot meals out of our kitchen and inviting our friends to come along because everybody wants to do something, but nobody knows what to do. So our friends, our friends literally were like, hey, we want to jump in. So everybody came in, we started cooking and we started putting hot meals in the car. I wanted to do hot meals in the car, and we would go around and we would deliver, 50 meals on a Sunday. And so we got to become predictable with them. They started texting and saying, hey, are y'all coming? What are y'all bringing today? And we just started having conversations with them. So we started thinking, let's add the next thing, which is hygiene. Well, so we would fill up our car with socks and deodorant, toothpaste, and everything, and we would go deliver meals. Well, I'm handing out a meal to one of our friends named Will one day, and I'm looking behind him and I see he's got chicken and ribs and hamburgers that people had dropped off. I mean, James and I aren't native Austonians, but we do think that people here are so generous. Like there's just a great spirit of generosity here. And so I kind of thought something is not clicking here. So I go, Will, I see you have food. What do you need? And he said, we need to be able to take a shower and wash our clothes. Kind of had this, aha moment that,
Mm-hmm.
yes, of course that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked at my husband and he got it. He got that look like, oh, wow, she's thinking. I was like, we need to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
And so he started thinking, well, I'll design something. His background is in construction. He's been in the HVAC industry forever. So he understands plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and all of that. So we started looking into it. And our journey took us to actually a manufacturer who makes disaster relief trailers. And we found it was more economical to have him do it. We could get it done quickly. So we reached out, found out we needed $41,000 and set out to raise the money. So we did it with Facebook Lives by just, we had invited somebody who did have a shower trailer from McKinney to come, and we had what we call our block party with his trailer, and got a lot of press and notice. I think one of the reporters from, I think it was KXAN, did a Facebook Live, and people just loved it. They jumped in. They were like, this is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
And we were found by Glimmer Austin, who reached out to us and said, hey, we'd like to give you a seed grant. So from there, we
Yay, Glimmer.
Yay, we love Glimmer. And so we just continued until we raised enough funds. We went ahead in faith and took the money and put it down on the trailer, 50% down. And then we could set out to raise the rest of the money. And we got our trailer. It'll be 2 years in October. And what we do is every week we put on what we call a block party. And we just make it a fun event where people who are homeless can come and take a shower, have their clothes laundered, get a hot meal, and all in a fun environment. Like we make it fun. So that's what we do.
I love that. And I do recall when we spoke last year, The terminology that you use, is not lost on me at all. Friend and block party, like that is so dignified and, normalizing of people who are experiencing homelessness. Like, I think that's very important that you're using that terminology because just makes it more.
Yeah, we all deserve to feel love and hope and dignity. And so those are our three
values.
stones that we built this on. Like, what can we do? And I have been by places that offer services for people who are either poor, or homeless or, at risk or whatever. And it's so sad. They're standing in line. They're waiting to get whatever thing they're going to hand out to them. And I was like, no, I want this to be fun. I want them to feel loved. I want them to know they're our friend. And, it's by the grace of God that any of us could be in that situation, right? So we just want to normalize that we all want to feel loved, that what they want is no different than what you or I want.
Absolutely. And I have a question on Facebook. This is a first. So excited. How long from the time of the idea to the first block party? Like, how long of a period of time was that?
Let's see.
And Christy, if that wasn't the right question, feel free to pop in clarification, but that's what I think you're asking. Go ahead.
So our very first meal that we served was August 25th. And I believe our block party with the trailer. No, so we didn't immediately set out. We served meals for a long time before we had that conversation with Will. And so then I think the block party we had with the trailer from Lance in McKinney, Texas, Street Side Showers was in February or March.
Okay.
So that, about 6 months, just, serving food and getting to know them and learning about their needs. So yeah. And then
it's a process.
Yeah. And then March to October was how long it took to raise the money, get the trailer ordered and paid for and delivered.
Wow. That must have been and I bet you learned so much in that process.
It's so funny. There's actually an organization in California that teaches people to do this, but we were already doing it. I don't know if you have heard of Lava May X. They're fantastic, but we learned about them after we'd already started everything. And by the time we connected with them, we're like, oh, well, we've already done that. We've already done that. But we learned a lot and figured some things out. But now we do partner with Lava May and we're learning about all the different organizations that are doing the same thing, at least with the showers.
Amazing. Can you spell that? Lava May?
What's Lava May, which is a derivative kind of the Mexican term lava me, which means wash.
Oh, lava me.
Wash
sure.
me.
Okay.
Lava
Okay.
So it's lava. I know, is that great?
Yes.
And the founder, Donice, is amazing. She started this all in California. I don't know how many years ago, but she started by buying, I think she got some grants and whatnot to get some decommissioned city buses, and they turned them into these great big shower and kind of like a clothes closet, I believe. What they found is they're really hard to navigate around the streets of I think they started in San Francisco or Los Angeles. So they found it was really difficult to navigate around town. So they shrunk them down into trailers.
For sure. That sounds just like my house. Somebody's always coming through.
Yeah,
doing
James just
something.
got here.
Oh, James.
Yeah, he'll pop in and say hi after he catches the call.
That would be great. That'd be great. Okay, so the people watching are loving the story. They are eating up the story. Now, why don't we just go straight into what you're doing with you had plans for trailer number 2, but go ahead and jump into that story like we talked about on Tuesday.
Right. So actually last weekend we invited a bunch of people who love what we do and are interested in investing in us. And one of them was John Paul from Paul Mitchell. And he came and saw our block party and was completely just blown away at the whole atmosphere, the joy, the services and everything. And so he came alongside and said, "Hey, I want to get in on this." And he's actually going to fund our second trailer completely by himself. So unfortunately, the costs don't stop with just the trailer. We have to get a truck. We have to get insurance. We have to get employees to run it.
Right.
But we're just so grateful for that. And we haven't even, this is a first, we haven't even announced this yet. So y'all are hearing this
right here on the nonprofit shout out
Yeah.
interview on organizing for good. It's out there now.
It is out there. Yeah.
That's amazing. But you were telling me that you do all the block parties on the weekend, which involves hot showers, laundry, a hot meal, and haircuts and a clothes closet, all of that happening at the same time.
So what we kind of want to do, because just putting on the showers, the laundry and food is a big task.
Sure.
And it takes a team of amazing volunteers that help us, and we love that. But we found that we had other people come up and say, my heart is to bring clothes to the homeless, or my heart is to give haircuts, or a chiropractor said, "Hey, I'd like to jump in and do some adjustments."
Oh my goodness.
So we started adding those services, and what we've kind of called it is like, we're the venue. So if you have something that's on your heart that you're like, I want to do this, but I don't know where to go or how to get started, we'll set up a tent. We'll get people signed up to do whatever you want to do. And prior to COVID, I had people reaching out saying, I've always wanted to do art with the homeless. And I'm like, come on, we'll set up a tent.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Or
music.
Oh my goodness. I love this so much.
Yeah.
That's quite an event.
And honestly, I'll invite people out. If you ever want to come check our website, it's got our calendar, and you can actually see what we do. And if there's something you're interested in, you can email me at info@lighterloadsatx.org and say, I've always wanted to teach the homeless this, or watercolors, or whatever it is that your heart is, your passion is. If it makes sense, we can set up a tent.
That is amazing. Well, let's go ahead and talk about how did you handle when couldn't be in person with people? How did you get through the roughest of it, and how are you able to bring it back?
So at the time COVID hit, we were serving a lot at Camp Esperanza, and they had anticipated that COVID was just going to run like wildfire through the homeless camps. And so we pulled back, and we said, out of the safety for our volunteers and for the safety of the homeless, we're just going to pull back. Well, then people started reaching out to us and saying, we miss you guys. When are you coming back? And we found out that we fell under the services of essential services. Yes. Wow. So we masked up, we gloved up, and we just went out there and kept doing it. And it was interesting. We found that it really didn't impact the homeless community as much as they anticipated. So
fascinating.
Yeah, we just kept going. We took off for probably, I don't know, maybe a month at the most.
Wow. So that's amazing. And what about volunteers at that point?
So we did have some volunteers that for certain reasons, some of them said, they were at risk. Yes. Said, please keep us in mind, but we're gonna drop off right now. And so, then there were people that just said, hey, we're willing to mask up and go there. So we started out with a much smaller group, and then people started kind of coming in as they saw our events on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. So now we're fully staffed at every event. As a matter of fact, sometimes we're having to turn people away because we have so many people interested in volunteering.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Wow. Someone asked actually how did COVID change for you? But I typically ask that question, so we got that covered, and that is awesome. So I love these questions. Someone is thanking you for being the hands and feet. I love that.
It
Thank
is
you.
our pleasure. James and I moved to Austin thinking we were going to spend our weekends riding our motorcycle and, heading out and exploring. And the funny thing is, we did that for a while, but now we can't even imagine what our weekends would be like without this. So it truly is our pleasure. And it is remarkable to me, the volunteers, especially the young people who show up. And I think you guys could be doing anything on Saturdays, but they love coming. And an interesting thing, Ryan, is one of the reasons that we have turned down some of the volunteers that are interested in volunteering is because the homeless have started showing up before we even get there, helping to set up tents, helping to set up the trailer.
Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, and so they start unloading the trucks and the trailer and pulling the extension cords out so we can plug in. And I mean, it's amazing. So my board and I had a meeting and I said, listen, do we ask the homeless to say, you know what, this is for y'all. Y'all go sit down. We're going to serve you. Or do we say to our volunteers, you know what, we've got enough people because of the hands of the homeless that are coming in helping us. And we decided that it was more dignified to let them do what they wanted to do and to feel good and to feel like they're a part of it. And literally, I am not kidding, they stay until the last piece of trash is picked up that the wind blew.
Oh my
I mean, it's amazing.
goodness. Oof. I
Yeah.
always get goosebumps during these interviews, and that was a good one.
Hey, so here's James. He wants to pop in and say hi. Remember Ryan and everybody here?
What's
We're
up?
doing a Facebook Live.
Hey, Ryan.
James, how are you? So good to see you. You guys
You
really
see
like
that ray of sunshine coming
I
in?
do. I mean, the heavens right here.
How you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. I'm hearing all the amazing updates, and we are just getting to the part where we're going to talk about events and Amazon Smiles and all the ways that people can help you do more of what you're doing. So
All right,
that's
Sounds good.
Well, I'm going to leave you at it. I have to go back to the real world.
yeah, you leave us girls to talk, okay?
I will. We'll see y'all later.
Mwah.
Bye.
All right, so let's talk about the event, last year's event and the next year's event and all the ways that people can support that are watching.
Now, when you say event, I'm assuming you're talking about our Shake the Lake.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because we
Yes.
call our block parties an event every
Okay.
weekend. Yes.
Okay.
So last year, I did it again to my husband. I said, I have an idea. Let's put on a music festival.
He's like, oh my goodness. Okay. Put
He's
on
like-
a music festival at the end, like when COVID was still like in September, like, oh, never mind about that. It'll work out. Right.
I'm like, and I literally, I said to him, I said, let me think about this. But in all honesty, he was so excited that he jumped up and went to go talk to the venue owner where I was thinking would be a good idea. And within an hour, he came back and it's like, it's on. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So Adam, the owner of Valente Water Park and Resort, said, absolutely, you can have the whole venue. Let's do it. And so in a matter of 2 months, we put on a music festival in the middle of COVID. We had 7 bands with the stage on the beach. It was fantastic. We sold VIP cabanas. So for the price of entry, you got the ticket to the water park. You got 7 bands on the beach. You could, we had a vendor village. So if anybody has a ware that they would like to sell, we just set up a whole village of just people having their, their art or their insurance company or the real estate company or CBD oil. All these different businesses came in and had their little tents so people could wander around there. We got some auction, silent auction and raffle items to help us raise money. It was quite fantastic. And our lead band was Suede. So if anybody is a fan of Suede, we had AJ Vallejo with Love and Chaos and Kendall Beard, who was an American Idol finalist. We had some local band. It was fantastic. And the thing of it is, when we wrapped it all up at the end of the night, every single one of the bands said, we want to come back next year. They were
So-
already signed before the event was over.
My goodness. And the date for this year's event is?
So this year we're doing it on September 11th. We had done it at the end of September, but since ACL is moving forward, we wanted to kind of give people a little
Yeah.
break to
Yes.
be able to
Yeah.
attend both events.
Yes.
But it will be fun. We added an additional band this year. The Reverend Few will be coming in. I think they're from Houston. Great, great band. So yeah, we're really, really excited about it.
That is super exciting. Okay. And what about people who aren't local and couldn't attend that? How else can they support?
Badasser this year.
Oh, goodness.
Oops, I lost you.
Oh, I lost you. We're back. We're
Okay,
back.
yes.
We're good. Okay. So I was saying how about some ways that people can help through just donating Amazon. I know you have an Amazon Smiles going now.
We do, and we're working on getting that list together as the summer months are coming along. I kind of feel like their needs kind of increase, maybe because we're in Texas, but you know,
Yeah.
bug spray, sunscreen, cooling
Yes.
towels,
Yes.
those kind of
yes.
things become real important.
Yes. So, anyway, people may or may not know that, if you don't live here in Austin, Austin just voted to reinstate the public camping ban, and that
Mhm.
went in effect on the 11th, 2 days ago. And so how does that change, or what do you hear, or what do you anticipate that affecting your population, your friends?
Yeah. So when we started, the camping ban was in place. So we were going behind buildings and into the woods and, scoping them out and finding them and letting them know, hey, we're going to be here, or this is what we're doing, or you can be predictable so that we would be delivering food on
Mhm.
certain times so they would
Mhm.
know where to find us. And we kind of feel like our main goal right now is going to make sure we are out there talking to as many of them as we can and letting them know, look, we're predictable. This is where we're going to be, so that they know to come to our events. But what we learned is that most of them are positioned near gas stations or fast food places, at least on the outskirts, not downtown so much, but as you move away from downtown. And they do that so they can go wash up in the restrooms and cool off, and a lot of them even rinse out their clothes, in the sink. So that's going to make it a little harder for them to do that, kind of maintenance before, when we're not available. So I think we're needed now more than ever. And that was what immediately came to my mind, is now more than ever, they need to know about us. People need to know that it's going to become a little more difficult for them to be able to clean up.
Yeah. So even the work you're doing is just even on a new level, level.
I feel that way. I mean, it's such a tough issue, the whole thing, it involves people on both sides, and I get that. And I don't take a position on it other than just like, let's find something that works. Now, I was reached out to by an APD officer, and he said they are going to make an effort to get in touch with as many homeless people as they can and kind of find out where they are in their station. Are they trying to get housing? Are they trying to get jobs? Do they need ID? Things like that. So we're going to work together and see if maybe they can use our venue as a way to connect.
Wow. That sounds like progress. That sounds like proactive communicating. People wow. I'm amazed I'm so grateful to hear you say that. So that
I think it can be a really big step, and one thing I do want to put out there is that I love that so many people are focusing on housing, and I think that's great. I mean, honestly, Ryan, I hope one day we're not needed. But the reality is that there's some people that are just never going to work in that environment. They're not geared to stay inside houses or maybe even follow basic rules that, some people do. It's just, there's a lot of issues, whether it's, drugs or mental health issues or whatever. But, in the meantime, we have to keep moving forward because we want to see people housed, but we also understand it's not probably realistic, at least in the short term.
I kind of feel like what you're offering, some showers and some laundry and haircuts and dignity could maybe help the percentage. I don't know what the percentage would be of the people who are just down and out and ready to get forward. So if they are able to be cleaned and fed and showered, like, okay, I'm ready to go look for a job or whatever. So I would hope that if, they have housing and then, they're feeling more dignified and can move forward in that and leave that
Yeah.
homelessness behind. We
And-
know that doesn't happen to everybody, but that would be a beautiful thing.
Right. And we have seen it. We actually have several of our guests who say, I'm going to go to work. Can I get a shower before I go? Or I need a haircut. I've got a job interview. The sad reality is I think I told you this, that I left my full-time job, my career in property management to come work for Lighter Loads full-time.
Wonderful.
And the reality is in Austin, and I don't think it's just Austin, but in general, to get into a house, you need to have credit, you need to have a down payment, you need to have a job, you need to have a license, a lot. And even to get in the lowest place,
the
you
basic,
need to come up with basic about $2,000, a 1 month's rent and a down payment. And your deposit. I'm thinking houses, but buying houses, but you need your deposit and you need a first month of rent. You need to get an application fee, which is a background check. And some people have issues with their background. So, these are some issues that'll have to be solved. But the reality is there are people who are looking for jobs. There are people who work, but they're still homeless.
Well, thank you for, I know people have questions and you certainly are so close to the source. You could provide a little bit of insight, and I love that, the hope you've given, I think, to people watching and feeling, I feel hopeful when I listen to you talk.
Oh,
So that is really, really amazing. So is there anything I haven't asked you yet, but you want to say before we close up?
One of our goals is to get people to come alongside monthly, whether it's, $5 or $10, then we can have the predictable income to keep ourselves rolling in between fundraising and things like that. So it's super easy to become a monthly partner and no amount is too small. A shower in, a load of laundry, $15, if you want to support somebody for the month, you can look at those options, but we have that stuff broken down. So, $1 a day, it's like, if we can get enough people to come alongside and support us, then we
sustain in a sustainable way. I love that. Yes.
Yeah. And that's really easy to do on the website. There's a donate button. You click it and it'll say, do you want to make this a recurring donation? It's all safe and secure. We added Zelle recently. So it's really easy. If anybody feels led to do that, that would be greatly appreciated.
Yes. If you're not getting the newsletter from Lighter Loads, definitely subscribe. Go to their Facebook page. There's just a lot of ways you can learn more. And definitely, please like and share this interview. Anything you learned today, share on your own socials, because that is what, as we've seen, this is only successful because of so many beautiful hands coming together and supporting, an issue that we all know needs creativity and love and heart.
Yep.
So,
and many hands make the load light. So, that's what we like. Whether it's volunteering or we said supporting, it'll get done one way or another.
Were you the one who came up with the name Lighter Loads?
Yes.
I love that. Such great meaning.
The crazy thing, it was actually in my Bible. And I know it's so crazy. It was a commentary about lightening the load. What does that mean? And then literally I found it again 2 days ago in my Bible in a whole nother passage. But when I saw it, I immediately screamed out to James, I'm like, we need to name it Lighter Loves.
So good. So good. Gosh, thank you so much for your time today. This has just been, I just love these interviews because we all want to know how we can help. And thank you so much for, gosh, what you're doing with your entire life, let's just say. I mean, but like we say, when you volunteer, I should say this every time. Volunteering, yes, you're helping whoever you're helping, but you get so much from volunteering. I mean, it's just, it's a two-way street. And so I know that everybody feels that way that has volunteered. So
yes, for sure. And thank you for giving us the platform to talk a little bit about what we do. And, I'm always available to answer questions through the email if anybody wants to reach out. info@lighterloadsatx.org.
wonderful. Laura, thank you so much. Thank you for your time today and all that you do. And thanks to everybody that watched today and asked questions. And please share this to your personal Facebook page, because that gets the word out. And I guarantee you that there's somebody out there who needs to hear this today. So thanks again. Next week we will be I did this again, or I didn't write down who is it birthday. I think it's the birthday nonprofit. And if I wait 1 second, Karen will tell me on the Facebook Live. There's something called Pop-Up Birthday Party where they put together like a whole birthday kit for kids whose families can't provide all the birthday essentials. Pop-Up Birthday. I'm going to say it's Pop-Up Birthday. It is Pop-Up Birthday next week. I can't wait to hear what they're doing to bring smiles to children's lives that might not really have the birthday parties that we are used to. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm going to end us up. I'm Ryan Lanier with Organizing for Good. Thank you for your time today and watching and sharing. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. See you.
Bye, Ryan. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.